Wow, wow, wow. And just like that, folks, our New York Mets are above 500. This is unbelievable. I really got to say, especially, let's look at it this way. The Mets last year had a horrific June. And what do you know? This June seems to have saved their season. The Mets averaging the most runs in June at almost 7 runs a game look like a completely different team than in the beginning of the year where they looked like it was going to be a disaster. A disaster. So, I got to say, I got to give Mendoza all the credit in the world, and that might be the best pickup Stearns made this entire year, getting a manager and a young manager, a guy who is developing a culture in Queens. And you see the team right now. The team is having fun. And it was so indicative tonight at Citi Field. You saw everybody celebrating the new song release of Jose Iglesias. Oh my God, right? It is just nuts. You see the boys, everybody's having a good time. And everybody has fun when you're winning. Everybody has fun when you're winning. Even Jeff McNeil tonight. Jeff McNeil took advantage of the Bregman era late in the game, hits a 3-run rope down the right field line, hits it in the first row in right field. But even guys like Jeff McNeil, who you could say had a little hard luck, but you know what? It's tougher for guys like Jeff because the outfielders usually play Jeff in. He hits the ball hard, lines out to the guys playing right in the right spot. So Jeff's hit into some tough luck, but Jeff's got limited power. So the outfielders are always playing in. Whatever. It is what it is. Tonight was a night of celebration. It was a night of good feelings. It was a night to actually dream, to dream big. We are one game over 500 right now, 40-39 after being 11 games under, after being buried by so many different prognosticators. So many people thought we were out of it. Braves fans, everybody thought we were out of it. But what do you know? Our New York never say die Mets are here to stay. And you know what? We are going to be buyers. Hands down. David Stearns came on and had a press conference before the game started, and he spoke about it. He said, "This is the team that we envisioned when I put this thing together. This is how I envisioned us playing." Yes, everything right now seems to be clicking. Everything seems to be going in a positive direction, especially the offense. But importantly, he says that everybody on the field are acting like leaders. And that's so oh my God, like last year, everybody, you were thinking, who is the damn leader? Who's the damn leader? Now you hear a quote like that, like you got 26 leaders on the team. It is so refreshing when guys step up. But like I'm going back to Carlos Mendoza has created that positive, non-toxic environment where guys can step up and where guys can be productive. So that's where I go back to Carlos Mendoza. Now, another guy who has notoriously not stepped into that leadership role has been Francisco Lindor. Francisco Lindor, since he moved into the leadoff spot, has been apart from what he has been in the last couple of years. And I know the numbers have been there, but he is just so different. He is more confident. It just really kind of shows once you take the pressure off the guy and you slot him in a more position in the lineup that's more conducive to his skills. He's relaxed. He's taking pictures. He's setting the tone at the top of the line. And talented player. We all know this, right? And when you put him in that position to set the tone, the rest of the lineup can just settle in. And when you have pieces like Alvarez, Vientos, JD Martinez, you have that flexibility to put Lindor in the beginning of the lineup, to put Nimmo 2, to put McNeil 8. Remember last year when we were having McNeil at number 5? when McNeil was protecting Pete, and when Vogelbach was protecting Pete. I mean, it is just so insanely different right now. The pitchers, obviously, Quintana, guys like him, they can go out and pitch because you have confidence that the lineup's going to score, that the lineup is going to back you up, and the players love each other. I mean, at the end of the game, Mets fans, when was the last time you saw a team so united? So united. I mean, I found it pretty cool. I found it pretty cool tonight on Fireworks Night. We were able to celebrate a 7-2 victory. And, I mean, Jose Iglesias has a, pretty nice song, and the whole team supported their teammate. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay, so let's talk about this. The Mets, the last three games, I gotta say, this is what they're doing right now. They are leaving their mark. They are setting the tone for the rest of the season, and they are making it known that it doesn't matter who is in front of us. We can compete and beat anybody. So, and also, when you put pressure on players like, Bregman made that error, I believe it was in the seventh inning, and your team is having fun, you're going to continuously put the foot on the pedal, and you're going to force guys to make plays in all these different situations. And that's what the Mets want to do. They want to continually put pressure on the opposing pitcher, which they're doing phenomenally. I mean, the way the lineup is taking pitchers, it's reminiscent of a couple of years ago. I remember when was it 2019, 2020, when our hitters, it was the year before Conforto left, when the lineup, 2019, when the lineup just really kind of clicked. It hasn't been like that. Pete Alonso hasn't really stepped into the type of hitter that I know he can be, but here's the luxury of having a good lineup, having a good team. Pete can kind of pick and choose, and he's having tough at bats. And you know what? Eventually, when he becomes hot, that's fine. We will still be above 500 because the team is doing well around him, and you gotta love it. Francisco Alvarez, he was spoken about by David Stearns pregame, and he says, you could see this guy, and it was actually brought up. They asked about the transcendingness of the player, Francisco Alvarez, how much he means to the team on and off the field, and how he affects winning. And it's just so blatantly obvious that Francisco Alvarez has that great impact on winning. It's a ridiculous record. What is it, 22-3? It's just a ridiculous record. Only 3 losses while Francisco Alvarez has been on the field this year that the Mets have lost. I mean, it is just insane for a 22-year-old. A 22-year-old. The pitchers love throwing to him, and I forget exactly what the stat was, but the stat ERA, so pitchers throwing it to Francisco Alvarez have a significantly lower ERA than throwing to other catchers. So that's pretty amazing. Kudos to young Francisco Alvarez. At the end of last year, I remember, despite him hitting 25 home runs, he had his head down. That was unacceptable. He hit around 200. He wanted to hit better because he knew he was a better hitter. He has high expectations, and that's what I like. The Mets right now are raising their expectations. In the beginning of the season, it was lowering the expectation. Now our expectations are raised. We're going. The Braves, they have the first wild card spot. There's no reason why we cannot be the first wild card team right now. There's a lot of opportunity, I would say, in the National League. Nobody in the wild card's running away with it. We're 1 game out right now. 1 game out. I'm not afraid of the Cardinals. I'm not afraid of the Padres. And the Braves have their issues with, Acuna being injured, Strider obviously being out for the year, Acuna out for the year as well. So those are their best pitcher and their best hitter. So, when there's blood in the water, you have to take advantage of it. And the Mets have been set up by David Stearns. They have enough to succeed. They have that vibe, that magic right now that we could ride to the rest of the season. And the biggest thing that I think Stearns did to this team is he took the pressure off. He took the pressure off, and the guys can just go out there. The Vientos, Alvarez, Lindor. Alonso's got pressure on him because he's got the contract, but everybody else can play loosey goosey and have fun. And even the bench players with Iglesias to Taylor, I mean, everything seems to be working right, and all is well in Metland. And when was the last time you could say that? When was the last time? And look, folks, when you have good leadership, when David Stearns, a guy like that, you see it over with the New York Knicks. When you have good leadership, it eventually trickles down. It took a couple months. It takes a little time, but that good leadership will, at the end of the day, always show its face. And I'm excited. I am excited. Next year, we're going to be setting ourselves up tremendously and in a tremendous fashion. So we have 2 games left with the Astros. I expect us to at least take one more game, win another series, and we move on. We move on. But, I made a video in the beginning of the year how MLB would be afraid of the Mets. And this is why. Because I felt that we were building something. Yes, we weren't going to be world beaters out from day one. It takes time to build, especially when you build it the right way. David Stearns and this New York Mets organization, as opposed to the last couple of years when you throw money after bad, are not doing right now. We are being calculated, we are being cold, and we are being shrewd. So I'm excited. That being said, I'm excited to see how David Stearns acts at the trade deadline, because there's no doubt we're going to be buyers. There is no doubt. There is no doubt, especially with the 6 wild card teams right now. And, besides the Phillies, the Dodgers, I mean, I'm not afraid of the Phillies. I'm not afraid of the Dodgers, but, they have slightly, better record than us. We started off slow. If we were playing like this the whole year, there would be no reason why we couldn't compete with the Phillies for the number 1 spot in the NL East. So time will tell. If we continue this run, we will be fighting for that top spot in the NL East. Mark my word, we will. And, we got Kodai Senga, our ace, hopefully coming back in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a major, huge acquisition. Drew Smith, unfortunately, reliever, is going to have Tommy John surgery. I wish him well. That's a tough break for him. We could have used an extra arm in the bullpen, especially with some guys not working out. Adam Ottavino, looking at you, but it is what it is. I have confidence in David Stearns. I have confidence that he's obviously a competent president, and he will get the job done. He will fill in the holes. So that being said, Mets fans have all the reason in the world to be excited. We really do. And let's be confident right now. I believe right now we're a top 4 team in the NL right now, and we're working our way up till we're number 1 offense. But we have to be a complete team as well. We have to pitch. We have to do well at the end of the games. We're relief pitchers, so we still have a lot of opportunity. But if we're united like this, and we sure were united tonight, the guys, guys were having fun. Pete Alonso dancing out after the game. It's just a thing of beauty when you see our team meshing as a unit. So, what do you think? Do you like the fact that we're united? How far do you think we can actually go if we continue to stay united? What do you think we're going to add? Is David Stearns going to add a big piece, small piece, couple small pieces? And last but not least, what is that one most important thing that you think we need? All right, I'm excited to hear what you say. Thank you as always. I appreciate all the the well wishes. The last couple of months, had some stuff going on, but I appreciate all the kind words. I really mean you are the best. Thank you again. Please like, subscribe. I will talk to you very soon. As always, let's go Mets. Looking good.